50 Cent is a legend in the game for a lot of reasons. He took over the whole industry back in the 2000s and became one of the biggest hip-hop artists of all time. But selling albums isn't why other rappers are scared of him. From surviving getting shot and stabbed, to going head-to-head with Suge Knight and allegedly pulling an Uzi on him, today, we're breaking down all the reasons rappers are terrified of 50. Let's get right into it. One of 50's early hits was a track called Wanksta, where he took shots at dudes who raps about a life they never actually lived. And the reason the song hit so hard was that 50 really had a wild come up in the streets of Queens. His mom was a drug dealer in South Jamaica, Queens, and she raised 50 until she tragically died in a fire when he was just 8 years old. After that, 50 lived with his grandparents, and it didn't take long for him to follow in his mother's footsteps. He started selling drugs at 12 to support himself, and in high school, he got caught bringing guns and dirty money into school. 50 had been trying to keep his street activities a secret, but after getting busted at school, he had to tell his grandma straight up that he was moving weight. Then in '94, he was booked for selling cocaine to an undercover cop. And just a few weeks later, the situation got even worse when the cops raided his house and found heroin, cocaine, and a gun. He got sentenced to 3 to 9 years in prison, but 50 got off easy by going to boot camp for 6 months instead. 50 almost lost a decade behind bars, and that's when he realized he needed to switch up how he moved. He started taking rap seriously, and in '96, one of his homies introduced him to Jam Master Jay from Run DMC. 50 already knew how to rap, but Jay taught him how to turn his bars into full songs. They made a record together that never came out. Then, 50 left Jay and signed a deal with Columbia Records. Some people in the industry knew about him, but 50 took it to the next level when he dropped the track, How to Rob. On the song, he went after some of the biggest artists in the game and described how he would rob them. And out of nowhere, 50 was getting responses from legends like Jay-Z, Big Pun, DMX, Wu-Tang, and more. These days, it's common for rappers to blow up off of one track on social media, but back then, it was a lot harder to get any buzz on your name. And when 50 got responses from some of the biggest rappers in the world, it proved that he had the skills to take over the industry. Everything was going better for him than anyone expected, but 50 wasn't out of the streets yet, and someone tried to take him out before his career really started. In May 2000, 50 walked out of his grandma's place and hopped in the backseat of his homie's whip. They were about to pull off when a dude walked up and started letting off shots. 50 got hit 9 times in the chest, legs, arm, hand, and cheek. Somehow, 50 survived the shooting, but he had to spend 2 weeks in the hospital and took almost half a year to completely recover. According to reports, a dude named Daryl Baum, aka Hamo, was the shooter, but 3 weeks later, he was shot and killed before the police could question him. Even though he's never been officially charged with ordering the hit, basically everyone knows that a drug lord named Kenneth McGriff was behind it. McGriff allegedly hired Baum, who used to be Mike Tyson's bodyguard, to take 50 out, but luckily, he made it out alive. 50 isn't the only dude who McGriff sent killers at though. He allegedly ordered the murder of Jam Master Jay, and in 2007, he was sentenced to life in prison for paying $50K to have someone kill his ops, Eric E. Moneybag Smith and Big Nose Troy Singleton. Getting shot 9 times barely slowed 50 down, but he turned the experience into a hit when he dropped the track Many Men and said, "I ain't gonna spell it out for you motherfuckers all the time. Are you illiterate? You can't read between the lines?" In the Bible it says, "What goes around comes around." Hamo shot me, 3 weeks later, he got shot down. Now it's clear that I'm here for a real reason, cause he got hit like I got hit, but he ain't fucking breathing. McGriff had ties to Murder Inc. Records, and most fans don't know that the shooting wasn't the first time to try to kill him. A few months before the shooting, 50 was already beefing with Ja Rule, who was the main artist for Murder Inc. According to rumors, 50's friend robbed Ja Rule, and Ja thought 50 was the one who set it up. And in March 2000, 50 ran into the Murder Inc. crew at a studio and ended up getting stabbed by another rapper named Black Child. 50's first real hit was Wanksta, where he took shots at dudes who fronted about being active in the streets. He didn't call Ja out by name, but later, 50 said he definitely fit the description. Then, after Ja accused 50 of filing a protection order against him, 50 aired him out in one of the most savage diss tracks of all time. On Back Down, 50 spent the whole song sending shots at Ja with bars like, "Maybe I'm so disrespectful, cause to me you're a mystery. I don't from your hood, you have no history. Never poke nothing, never pop nothing, stop frontin'. Jay put you on, X made you hot. Now you run around like you some big shot." Ja had 2 #1 albums under his belt, and 50 was a new dude in the industry. But after Back Down came out, it was all downhill for Ja. It wasn't just a wild diss track, it was featured on one of the best-selling rap albums of all time. Get Rich or Die Trying eventually went 9 times platinum and sold over 800K copies in the first week. So basically everyone in the world heard 50 air Ja Rule out. Ja clapped back and sent shots at 50, Eminem, Dr. Dre, and anyone else who was on 50's side. And that's what put the nail in the coffin. Ja was already losing the fight, but then the whole industry turned against him and his career pretty much ended overnight. After taking out his biggest rival in the game, 50 earned a reputation as someone you don't want to beef with. But when he started having issues with the game didn't back down, and the situation ended in a wild shootout in the middle of NYC. After 50 blew up, Dr. Dre decided to put the game and the 50's G-Unit crew to help his album sales. At first, it seemed like the perfect mix between the East and West Coast, but it didn't take long before the situation got tense. It all allegedly started when 50 got heated because the game didn't want to start beefing with everyone that 50 had problems with. Ever since he blew up with How to Rob, 50 was pretty much constantly beefing with other artists, and when the game didn't go after the same dudes, 50 cut him off and announced he was kicking him out of G-Unit on Hot 97. When Game heard the news, he rolled up to Hot 97 with his crew and ran into 50 and his team outside. According to Game, they both had like 30 dudes with them and both sides started letting off shots. Only one dude got hit in the leg, but Game says 50 looked him dead in the eyes and upped his strap. Cutting some out of your crew is cold, but getting into a shootout with them in the middle of the street is wild. Everyone knew 50 was a savage, but his beef with the game proved that he's not scared of anyone, even if they were homies just a couple weeks before. And if that wasn't enough to prove how savage 50 is, this next story definitely is. Suge Knight is one of the most feared dudes in rap history. After he started Death Row Records with Dr. Dre back in the 90s, he used violence and fear to run the entire West Coast. Eventually, Dre got tired of all the drama and split off to make his Aftermath label. Suge was gonna let the betrayal go, and he rolled up on 50 with about 30 goons after he signed with Dre. At the video shoot for In the Club, everyone started freaking out because Suge was pulling up with a massive crew. Suge is allegedly involved with the deaths of Biggie, Pac, and is in prison right now for running over a dude in his truck and killing him. But he still couldn't make 50 back down. 50 stood his ground and just asked Suge, "What's up, man? What you wanna do?" According to Bizarre from D12, Suge just stood there and took a puff of his cigar. Then he motioned with his hand to let his crew know it's time to leave, and he pulled off without saying a word. There's a rumor that 50 ran into Suge and pulled an Uzi on him, but there's no evidence to back it up. But even if 50 didn't point a gun at him, he made it clear that he's not afraid of a dude that most people would run away from. Besides holding his own in the streets, other rappers know they can't mess with 50 in the business world either. He made millions in the rap game, but he made $100 million just with one investment after he invested in vitamin water. Plus, 50 branched out into acting and producing movies and TV shows, which proves that there's no part of the entertainment industry he can't make money in. 50 hasn't been beefing with other artists as much lately, but it's only a matter of time before someone else crosses him and reminds everyone why rappers have been afraid of him for over 20 years.